All right, so I'm back. It's been a little while. I've been away from this campaign for a few weeks, I think. According to my game world, we are it's still June 23rd in the game, so I've got to do a bit of catching up because I think we said we wanted to do like a one-to-one time, in which case I would have to burn up a whole month, all of July, because I haven't progressed my characters into this month, but that's all right. They got to train and stuff. I believe we leveled up. I'm going to do a little bit of a recap of our level 1 antics here, just to start. And then if you're kind of new to the channel and stuff, you can kind of get caught up here, which would be a good thing. So yeah, our character, Golly Godsford, sailed over the ocean to this new continent, this new world of discovery, an ancient fallen civilization with lots of things to discover. There's a few situated areas and stuff like that that are thriving, but there's a lot of ruins and stuff, ancient temples and whatnot to be discovered within this realm. So we started here. We kind of traveled to the village of Barnemouth to get rolling, right? Golly hired, he's our dwarf cleric. He hired Sorcel Summerbreeze. I call her Summer though. She's a barbarian Goliath, fire ancestry and stuff like that, and he's a dwarven cleric. So he's hired her for a bodyguard, and then they're going to hopefully explore some of these old temples and whatnot. And they heard talk of there was something nearby the village hex, which is here, right? They went to the village, and they are actually down in here. This is they spent the day in the inn. They talked to a gnome tavern keeper who kind of told them that, you know, there's some stuff down here. There's let them know about this gnome archeology camp. So they kind of went down and got to know a few of those guys there. They said they would what was it? They wanted the dungeon cleared and stuff like that, because there's that evil map maker. They tried to buy a map, and that evil map maker is in league with the kobolds that kind of are within this area. So we have a kobold camp we could potentially be raiding here if they cause a lot of grief, but that map maker was in league. They would kind of ransack people who go and try to explore and dive within this dungeon, the Infinite Burrows. So we kind of put a stop to that. That was like our first encounter, which was yeah, here's our village, right? So we would head down south to go towards that area, and we are in the Infinite Burrows now. In room 1, we encountered that kobold inventor and the that evil map maker. So this is the Infinite Burrows. We have it all mapped now, 10 rooms. So we can kind of go and show these gnomes now, like, hey, we mapped the place, we cleared it, we know what it's about, and then you guys can help vouch for us, right? Because we came in here, room 1, it was the evil map maker, and it was the kobold inventor right here, and they kind of attacked us. We had that little battle first thing. We killed that kobold inventor, and we also captured the evil map maker. We have him tied up, and at one point we left and took him back to, yeah, we ditched and brought him back here, and the gnomes are holding us, right? Or holding him now. Because what else did we do? We had like tied him up, I think, and explored a little more. And I think at one point they agreed to watch over him for us. Well, we had discovered, or no, we rescued, that's what it was. We rescued a gnome NPC, which, what room would that have been in? I have some of it written down. At one point we had found the gnome NPC. So in here, because we tied him up, we left him outside. That's what we did. And he ended up staying tied up, that map maker tied up outside. And then what we had did was explore a little more. I think we went left first. And here it dropped down to like a little cavern with a pond. And there was a slad tadpole, and we defeated the slad tadpole. There was one exit that kind of dropped down to a big cavern, and then this is kind of where it starts branching out. There was like an exit here, 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 and here. So there was a lot of ways to branch out, and we just decided it goes to the Underdark, right? This is where we found that Deep Roth and that Boggle. And then this is when we had Moss and Keto. Like, Moss and Keto did all the heavy lifting, defeating the Slad Tadpole. And then they got too rambunctious and went in here and attacked that Roth, and the Boggle ran. And then these gas spores, right? These fungi and gas spores were here, and it killed, the Roth killed one of our mosquito guys, and then that gas spore, I think, infected the other sturge we had, who was one of our companions, and then it branched out. At this point, now there's 5 more gas spores. So if we ever want to go to the Underdark, if there's ever a point within our campaign where they're like, hey, we need to go to the Underdark, we know a way to get there, but there'll be 5 gas spores in here, and that'll kind of hold us out from, just having an easy exploration. But yeah, then we kind of went back up. I think we went through this door next. And we went down, it went downstairs, it goes under here, and then it goes downstairs again to this room that was under here. And then I think this might have been where we found the NPC, where we rescued the gnome lady and brought her out to back to the gnome camp, which was this area. And then that's when they agreed they would watch our guy for us, right? And then they said if we clear this dungeon, they can vouch for us when we go and take him back here to the village, have him tried for, his little racket he had with the kobolds, right? I think at one point we encountered another kobold too. So there was one in there rooting around, right, looking for his buddy. So they're going, room 7, we found another kobold inventor. So this is 1, 2, 3, and then I think we went 4. And then we come up here 5, 6, 7. Oh, so we found them in there. Sorry, this was a while. We found another kobold inventor in there. But at some point, they're going to ask questions, right? We might be on their bad list now already. And that scouting party. When we went to travel back, I think it was, we encountered a scouting party, and we had to do battle with those. I think it was like 5 kobolds or something. So we're going to be at war with these guys. I think we're in their bad books because we've already killed like a good 7 of their guys, maybe. So that's the backstory there, right? But anyway, we got their gnome. We're in the gnome's good books and stuff like that. We were clearing out. We had come up here, and then this is where that goblin kerfuffle was, right? So this was like a big tomb that had a bunch of good loot in it, but there was a goblin warrior in there, and that goblin warrior looted it already. So what we could do later on is roll for like what was in there, what does he have, right? But basically what he did, there was a myconid, which is like a little sprouty mushroomy guy, right? Which would it fit the theme of all of our mushrooms we were drawing and stuff like that. So there could be a myconid colony in the Underdark nearby, and that's where he was coming up. But anyway, that goblin warrior like killed him in here, pretty handily, and then he freaking beat us pretty quick, right? He almost killed us, but then he fled with what he found in the tomb. So we could almost try to roll today for like what he has in the tomb. And basically he fled to the woods over here. So now we know he's in here, and I'm gonna do a little mechanic later to like roll for him recruiting guys. He's gonna start like a goblin thing here because he's got some nice loot, potentially magic items from here that might help him establish a little goblin outposting here. So we're at, this hex is getting pretty dangerous. There's a kobold lair. There's going to be that goblin warrior / boss now. I think we upgraded him. So he's going to have a lot of stuff. We're going to have to deal with a lot of this stuff. And we haven't even touched like what could potentially be in these marshlands or the quarry for the city or even the hills, right? So there's a lot of we might have to clear this hex to make it safe because it is connected pretty close to the city, and there's a lot of things that could disrupt the trade to this village. So we might have to try to protect Barnemouth Village and slay a few things here, right? And you know, maybe we can get our gnome friends to come do a raiding party with us later. But yeah, that was this room. This was like a little tunnel that was dug through the wall here as a secret door. It just led to like another little cavern, like a nest for, what was it? Those creepy things. I forget what they're called. It's like buggish looking things, but there was like a mom, a dad, and a baby, and we just kind of beat them in there. Just underdark creatures, essentially. We bailed out of there. Up here was like more catacombsy things. I tried to do it in such a way to make it look like, I don't know, maybe they prepared bodies and stuff in here, and these were catacombs. This was a big tomb. But we came in here. I don't know if we found a whole bunch of loot or anything like that. We just had like a couple fights and everything in here. Then we went back down. It was all dead end up here. We went back down into this area. We found the abandoned camp, which could have been some of the other gnomes, because we had rolled earlier that the gnomes had suffered like massacre or something. So there was more gnomes. I think they were exploring this too. They set up a camp inside the dungeon and they just kind of got slaughtered. So this would be their abandoned camp and some little bodies here. And then we went over here. I think we went just straight across into the last room. This was room 10. So we didn't spend a whole lot of time in there. I just rolled that it was like an edible fungi and moss room, but we didn't really find anything in there. So I just like added a bunch of shit to make it look like it's something. But this is like the edible fungi or moss. I did my best to show that a little bit. And yeah, we didn't really find anything in there, and that just kind of cleared the room. And then yeah, this is our 10 levels, because we had rolled at the start that it's a 10-room dungeon, and we cleared it. So essentially now what we can do is carry on with the campaign. Maybe I have to burn a month up now. I believe it's the 29th of July for me in real world, but in game it's the 23rd still. So I got to try to burn up a whole month, and that's okay because our guys leveled up and they need to learn their skills, right? So we're going to have them learn their new skills of their level 2 and stuff like that. They could have spent the month training and doing that, or like maybe what's his name? Golly was working with the gnomes to like scribe this map down of the dungeon, so they have a map now. And then maybe now they can sell legitimate maps, because we had a map that it was only mapped for the first 6 rooms, which was what, you know, now we have 10 and it's clear, but we have an opening to the Underdark, so that's pretty good. So let's just jump into it. I think where we left off last was we left the dungeon. We just came right outside the dungeon. Oh, another thing that I was keeping track of was the time. So where's that sheet? We burned up roughly 2.5 hours of our oil, of just like clearing rooms and all that kind of stuff using light. So we burned 2.5 hours of our oil, and I believe the lamp oil is good for 6. So we still have a lot of stuff we can use, which is good. But anyway, let's get caught up. We're outside this dungeon. We're going to travel back to the gnome camp, and I have to roll for encounters now. We'll lie this flat. What was my encounters? When we are in the... Let's check it out. When we are uninhabited or in the wilderness, 1 in 10 chance of an encounter. So we're going to roll a d10, and if I roll a 1, it's going to be an encounter. So we're traveling back to the gnome camp. Oh, would you look at that, a 1. So we do have an encounter going back to the gnome camp. So I'm going to quickly... What do I need to do? I need to grab my Dungeon Master solo thing to help me out here. So give me a moment to go find that. Okay, here we go. I got my little piece here. So we got the Wilderness Encounters. It's going to be a D100 roll. What did we encounter on the way to Gnome Camp? It's going to be 28. So let's have a look here. On 28, we rolled. You stumble across an orchard filled with ripe and delicious fruit. The owner is nowhere in sight. Okay, cool. So we found that. That's just that orchard again. Do we want to like loot that again for what was it? We got rations out of it last time, hey? That would be a fun little thing. How about this? We're just going to bail on that. We didn't find anything, so no battle, thank goodness, because I don't think Golly has spells. Yeah, no, he would have no level 2 spells. He could just do cantrips. So good thing that we didn't find like a monster. But anyway, we're back to Gnome Camp, and I had to quickly look at the last video, and I had said that we burned a day-ish around in here, I think we had said. So that we have to roll for random encounters. For the however random encounters we have is however many we had. And in my video, my last video, I was just looking at it, it said I had to check 3 times. So we got to check 3 times to see if that map maker escaped the gnomes. So I kind of forget the rules for the rope because he's tied up with a rope. So we're gonna we have to go back to the rope rules here and find out just like what the DC is and stuff like that. So it is, I believe it falls under adventuring gear for 2. We'll go to 222. We'll see if what we got here for the rope. He's tied up. LM, yeah. I'm just gonna quickly look at oil too as well for the because I believe oil, yeah. For light, how much? Yeah, 6 hours. So the lamp gave us 6 hours. Yeah, so I burned 2.5 hours of the oil. Okay, now rope. rope. Here we go. If you succeed on the DC 10 dexterity sleight of hand check, the rope can be burst with a successful DC 20. You can bind unwilling creature. If creature restraint condition. Escaping the rope requires the creature to make a successful DC 15 dexterity acrobatics check as an action. So that map maker is, he gets a DC 15. He gets 3 chances, I believe I said, which is, seems like a lot. I feel like he's going to break free from these gnomes. 13. He doesn't. 15. Oh, he does. I believe that's how that, right? If you meet it or don't meet it, what is it? So a 10. So if on a DC 15 he rolled a 15, that would mean he broke free on his second chance. So the map maker's free. Does he escape back to the village, or does he escape to the burrow? So let's find out that. How about that, right? So how about this? On an evens, he's back. He goes back to his home in the village. Ooh, so on a 6th. So that map maker escaped away from these gnomes in the night. And they kind of come up here to, well, no, he would have to do a DC acrobatics check. Yeah, he's just going to escape. That's the rule there. Okay, so on a 6, evens, he fled. So we're going to show up here, and we're going to be like, hey, good news, guys. We cleared the infinite dungeon. We have, we did all this stuff, but the main loot in that tomb has been looted by that goblin. It's now within the forest. He owns that stuff. Hey, where's our dude? Right? And they're going to be like, oh, bad news bears, man. That map maker, he was crafty and he escaped from us and he fled. We don't know where he went, but according to the rolls, he went back to the village. So he could cause some problems for us when we get here. He could be saying like, hey, these guys kidnapped me or something like that, or, or try to get the town against us, and we'll find out a little bit when we go back here. But yeah, map maker's gone. We're pissed. Well, maybe not pissed. I don't know. What's that? Is Golly mad? Golly's mad. Some are mad. Nah, not really. She'll be like, oh, we'll find him again. I've seen worse. Magali's like, what the hell, man? They're going to call us liars. I'm not a liar. I'm a man of God, right? Okay, so let's have them spend the night in the camp again. So let's do another wilderness check. Does anything get them in the night? At midnight? No, it doesn't. We need a 1, right? 1 in 10 chance. So they have a good sleep. They're fully recharged. However, that map maker's got a head start on us now. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a run, maybe. Because we're on good terms with the gnomes, again, we're gonna utilize their stuff because we rescued their lady, and then they stopped charging us for food and stuff from their rations and whatnot. So we're gonna burn up their stuff. We're gonna eat their meals, drink their water, right? And that way we don't have to dip into our own. And then I'm gonna cross a day off of the old sheet here. I think we did the payment for summer already, where she's owed that 7 gold pieces. I can't remember. I'd have to watch the video again. I'm pretty sure, because she's up, what, 70? But she did win. Maybe I just transfer more goals to her. But I'm pretty sure in the last video we did. If I didn't, leave a comment. Just say like, hey, you didn't. So then I'll just move 7 gold pieces to Summer's pocket here. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to travel back. So it's roughly, what, 5, 10 miles back to the village. That's roughly half a day. So we need to do 2 encounter checks to travel back. I think it is. Yeah, because in the plains hex is where we are. We check in the morning and we check... Oh, we don't check at noon. We just check in the morning. Okay, so just one more. Does anything get us on the way? Nope, it doesn't. So we travel back. We're back in the town. And how about this? So the map maker, he fled to town. Let's see if... is he there, I guess, first off. So on a, what is it, DC 15, he'll be there. How do I want to phrase that? Yeah, DC 15. We can look for him. Wait. There's a mechanic for this in this thing. So I'm just going to quickly pull this up. Okay, I hate this AI shit here. Table of contents, wilderness encounters. There is a thing for merchants and shopping or searching. Oh no, that's in the Dungeon Master's Guide. That's right. That's in that whole like urban chart thing. It's on the right side. A guy could just go to the what do you call it? Table of contents. Maybe find it faster, right? Killing up a lot of time for you guys by just going through this thing. I knew it was on the right side. Where the heck is it? It's going to be under environmental. I believe environmental effects or travel. Let's go to page 68. It might be a page 68. Somewhere in here. Oh my goodness. This is part of the game, right? It's just always looking for things. Trying to find... No, it'd be under travel. That's right, travel. So let's have a look here. Where would travel be? Is that way up? Or is it way in? Creating campaigns, creating adventures. Bear with me, folks. Encounter pace and tension. 118. Using a map. There we go. 36. Frick. 30. There it is. There it is. That's what this search DC mechanic is for. So anytime you're like looking for somebody, right? So urban, we're in the urban area now. We are in the town. So our search DC, oh, sorry, I didn't know if you could see that. Urban search DC is 15. So we're looking for the map maker. Can we find this guy on a 15? Ooh. And on a 15, we find him. So we find the map maker right away. Maybe he just went right back to his thing. Now, I guess we'll do a DC 10 on this. Anything under a 10, and he's gotten the town to like, he's went and alerted the mayor or something like that. How about that? And then anything above that 10, he hasn't. Ooh, yeah, so he's gotten the town mayor and everything on board with him. He went to the town mayor and he said like, hey, these guys freaking, they're liars, they're crooks, maybe he's lying and saying like, hey, they were killing people in that infinite dungeon and infinite burrows, and they're no good. So here's what we're gonna do now. But because we have the gnomes with us, what we're going to do is the gnomes are going to vouch for us. They're going to impose we'll say a +2 maybe bonus. What should we say? How about we roll a D6? And this is the bonus they're going to give us for vouching for us to our roll. 1. Okay, so we only get a +1 bonus from the gnomes vouching for us. So maybe the town don't like the gnomes that much. And who's got the higher persuasion? Golly Godsford's got a 3. Summer's got a -1. How about this? Well, he was the one mad too, so that would make sense for him to. He's going to do some persuasion here. So he gets a +3 to the roll, and it's going to be a DC 15. Can they kind of have a debate and stuff like that about, no, like this map maker is wrong, and our guys, the gnomes, they were slaughtered by this guy and his racket, and he's in league with the kobolds. So DC 15, boom. 11 +3 for the persuasion. It's 14 plus the 1 takes us right to the 5. Oh, those gnomes came in and they convinced us, or convinced the town. They almost believed that map maker. So the town mayor and all of them, they say, okay, we believe you. Like all these gnomes here saying like, we actually know the gnomes from like maybe they encountered them a couple times as they come to and fro from like their camp to the village. So yeah, the townspeople believe us, and the map maker, they do not believe the map maker. So how about that? The map maker is now thrown in jail. Do they throw him in jail or do they hang him? Let's have him get thrown into jail. They're like a peaceful town, hey? Yeah, so now the map maker is thrown in jail in the town of Barnemouth. Yeah, we're here. Let's get our Barnemouth page open, right? We drew this nice little map. So how about that? That kind of worked out for us in the long run. The map maker is now seen to justice. So that ties up that little loose end nicely. However, there's still the kobolds that the map maker was dealing with, and they might cause some grief in the future. So conflict is, for the most part, resolved now. I was a little worried that, like, we'd have to, fight or we'd get thrown into dungeons or something like that in the town when we first rolled up. But thank goodness those gnomes, we cleared the dungeon first, and those gnomes vouched for us. Map makers in jail. Now we're in the town. So now we can kind of, do we get a reward for bringing the map maker to justice? Was it a problem for them? Let's say a DC 15 on, do we get like some kind of a reward for this? DC 10, no, still no reward. They're just kind of cheapskates here. So we just did this out of the goodness of our hearts. We got some loot and stuff like that though, right? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I want to catch the time up to where we currently are. So I have to rip through 5, 10, or sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Wait, what day is it? It's the 29th. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, roughly 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like 5 weeks. So 5 weeks plus 3 days. And I gotta rip through all that. Hold on, I need to grab a pencil and then I'll be right back. Okay, now this is kind of the boring side of it, like the logistical stuff, right? So we have, what is it, 5 weeks times 7 for, 7 days in a week, 35 plus 3 days. So 38 days they got to chew through that they spent back in the town. So basically we got to get through our costs of like how much does that cost them to stay in the town that long. So at page 230, let's have a look here, right? Now, food and drink, right? So this is where lifestyle expenses, I'm going to use this mechanic. They lived, what was it? Do they support themselves at an average level? Or do they spend modestly for necessities and enjoy a few luxuries? They're just gonna play it modest then. So it costs them 1 gold piece per day to live. And what is it? Yeah, that's just gonna be it. Lifestyle expenses summarize the cost of living in a fantasy world. They cover lodging, food, equipment maintenance, and other necessities. At the start of each week or month, the AM's choice, choose a lifestyle below. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so they're just we'll just spend modestly. So it costs them each, we're gonna breeze through 38 days to catch them up to our time. So it's gonna cost them each 38 gold, which is a big old chunk for what we're doing here, right? So hold on here. What else do I need to think about? So this just pays for everything to get them caught up. So old Golly's got 278 gold pieces left. I had to go a little calculator off camera. I'm dumb as hell. Okay, 276 gold. Now, Summer has, so 38, 70 minus 38, right? Hold on. 32, 332. She's still doing all right. She's still got a lot of gold. Now, in that time, does he want to keep her around, right? In which case, he would burn through a shit ton of money to pay for her services to stick around. Otherwise, like, because he's paying her for security. So does she stick around of her own accord, or does Golly have to pay for all these weeks that they're hanging out here for security? Well, he's just, because he's trying to scribe that map and everything with the gnomes, and they're just trying to decide what they do in that time, right? So here's what we can do. How much? Maybe they pass that information along to the town of like, hey, this thing's been okay. Holy smokes, I don't know what to do now. I'll be honest, where to go with this story. Because like, why would they spend a month in that town? training, I guess. Let's just level them up, and maybe we can figure out a story from there. So let's look into our book here. So Golly Godsford is going to be a level 2. So I'm going to look through the page here for leveling up. Level advancement, page 41. Oh, that's just the experience points. Yeah, so they're all level 2. I need to go to the cleric pages and everything like that. Let's do summer, because we got the barbarian sheet first, right? Where did it go? Oh, hit points. I'm gonna do the fixed hit points. I don't know if you could see that. Hopefully you can see that. So the barbarian, every time I level up, I'm going to go off these fixed hit points. I'm not going to roll for them. So the barbarian gets 7 plus their con modifier. So Summer is going to gain, she's at 14 hit points right now. She's going to get 7 plus the con modifier, which is 9. So she's going to gain 9 extra hit points. So that's pretty damn good, right? So what is that? 14 plus 9. She's going to be up to 23. That's a big old jump, eh? She now has 23 hit points. She's going to have 2 new hit die for leveling up. And let's look at the barbarian. What do they get? Now, level 2. Level 2. Plus 2 proficiency bonus. She gets danger sense and reckless attack. She still has 2 weapon mastery, still has 2 rages. So what is danger sense? Let's read it together, gang. Danger sense. You gain an uncanny sense of when things aren't as they should be, giving you an edge when you dodge perils. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws unless you have the incapacitated condition. Wow. Good job, Summer. So in Summer's page here, I'm going to write down at the bottom. I'm just gonna. It would be advantage on dex throws. Advantage on dex saving throws, and that could come in handy when you're in dungeons, right? Unless incapacitated. And then level 2, reckless attack. You can throw aside all concern for defense to attack with increased ferocity. When you make your first attack roll on your turn, you can decide to attack recklessly. Doing so gives you advantage on attack rolls using strength until the start of your next turn. But attack rolls against you have advantage during that time. So there's a potential to just hit. But also people can hit us, right? So we'll just write this down here. Reckless attack. Now I kind of remember this rule, so I might not have to write it all down, but let's see here. Doing so gives you, advantage on attack, strength, and then attackers have advantage. And that's all she gets for level 2. Look at that. We leveled up Summer. And now we can write down level 2. Let's roll on over. So really, she doesn't need to spend like a week training, right, for having danger sense and reckless attack. She just learned how to be like, these aren't skills you would need to train necessarily. So whatever. Okay, now let's bring it on down to Golly. And we're going to pull this back to the hit points again. He is a cleric, so he gets 5 plus his con modifier. So he gets 1. So he's got 16 hit points now. So he can he might take a couple hits now. I was always worried about him. He gets 2 hit die. Yeah. And also, though, he gets this thing that with his dwarven thing, increase HP by 1 each level. So he actually gets 17 hit points. What he gets. Does Summer get that too? What does she get for her things? Let's have a look at her stuff here. Always forget stuff. No, she doesn't get any kind of bonuses like that. So because he's a soldier, I think, or no, that's his dwarven advantage or something like that. They're like tough. So he can increase his HP by 1 each level, but she can't. I thought for some reason as a soldier you got that, but maybe not, hey? Yeah. Okay, so he's got 17 hit points, 2 of those hit die, and he's also, we've got to bring it on to the cleric page now. Clerics, they get, let's see here, level 2. Oh, he gets another prepared spell. Look at that. And he gets Channel Divinity. So level 2. Oh, he gets a bunch of stuff here, I think. You can channel divine energy directly from the outer planes to fuel magical effects. You start with 2 such effects, Divine Spark and Turn Undead, each of which is described below. Each time you use this class's Channel Divinity, choose which Channel Divinity effect from this class to create. You gain additional effect options at higher cleric levels. You could use this class's Channel Divinity twice. You regain 1 of its expended uses when you finish a short rest, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Okay, so he gets Divine Spark and Turn Undead, and he also gets another prepared spell. So what I'm going to do is off camera, just so I don't burn up any more time, I'm going to figure out what this is, and then I'll come back. Okay, I got to figure it out now. So with Golly, at level 2, he gets that divine, or that Channel Divinity. He can use it twice, and he gets to choose either Divine Spark or Turn Undead, which is either, the Divine Spark is either like a healing or an attack thing, and the Turn Undead is just like, for undead creatures, like making them frightened or incapacitated, they'll run away. So that's kind of a nice thing. We get 2 uses. Short rest. Oh, that's what I didn't write. Short rest replenishes 1 Channel Divinity, and then a long rest is both. So we get 2. So that's just kind of like having a couple extra spell slots, right? So that's pretty good. We also get another spell slot for level 1 spell, and we get a 5 prepared spells. So I just picked the Guiding Bolt, which is like a long range attack thing. Does a lot of damage if it can hit. We'll throw that in there just to like give us a little bit more depth, because Golly doesn't have a lot of ranged attack methods other than like spells and stuff. Cool. So that was his leveling up now. So he learned a spell and stuff. So that can be the reason why they spent the month in, what do you call it? In the town, is they were just like, you know, like, hey, that dungeon kind of wrecked us a bit. And Golly can kind of convince Summer, like, hey, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna learn new spells, we're gonna scribe this map and all this stuff. And then if you're willing, we can go on and continue exploring if you'll have me. So she's just kind of staying of her own accord, and then he says he'll pay her again for anything. So she's like, well, you know, if I need a month to rest and relax, out, you know, going in a big battle in a month is kind of a lot, so they need to heal up a bit. And she decides to stick around the town with him. How about that? We'll make that fit. So going into We're at the end of July now. Let's decide. So surely some rumors happen. How about this? This is the mechanic I had wanted to do. So with that goblin that had escaped, or he looted the dungeon and he took off. He looted this sucker, right? So he's got some stuff. Let's see if he's got like a magic item with him, right? There's probably some good stuff there. So let's go to the Dungeon Master's Guide and let's see if that goblin, what's his name? Basher the Dwarf Slayer or something like that. I'll have to look back at it again, find out, write them down. So the magic items, there was a way to find out magic items, right? And I believe it's here. Random magic item rarity. When you decide that a treasure contains magic items, there are two ways to determine the rarity of those items. You can choose an appropriate rarity based on use the table to find the level of the characters in the top row. Okay, let's say there's some magic item there, right? He looted that tomb, and there was something in that tomb, something special, and he had to get out with it. So let's do that. Find out what he's got. Maybe he's got something crazy. So we're level 2, levels 1 to 4. We're going to roll on a D100 here. We've got a 43. So on a 43, levels 1 to 4, 1 to 54 is just common. He's just got a common magic item. Okay. So what is the common magic item? That's not fun, hey? I thought it would be something, maybe it had like a legendary thing. There is... No, these are to make magic items. There was a way to like... I'll have to go through all these in the future and maybe make our own magic item, right? That would be kind of fun. No, this is past all of this. There's like a big old chart. Here we go. Random magic items. Okay, use the tables in this section to randomly determine magic items the characters find in the adventure. The table is sorted. Yeah. Roll a d4 to decide. Okay, so he's got a common magic item. On a 2, we get a armament. So let's go to the armaments. Armaments table. Common. D100. We roll a 2. So on a 1 to 10, he's got armor of gleaming. So he looted the armor of gleaming from that tomb. And just what is the armor of gleaming? Let's bring it all the way back to the A's. A's, ammunition. Yeah. Arrow, armor of vulnerability, armor of gleaming. This armor never gets dirty. Okay. Nothing too fancy. It's just it just looks shiny and nice, right? So he's all decked out in some armor. That goblin boss, Vasher, I believe his name is Vasher, the Dwarf Slayer, has armor that never gets dirty, and maybe that helps him recruit some guys, right? So, and that's the mechanic I wanted to get to, is every week that had passed, he's able to recruit 1d4 goblin minions to his cause. So every week he escaped kind of here, right? So 1 week would be 1, would be the first. 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks pass. So in that time, we're going to roll 5d4, and we're going to find out just how many goblins he recruits, right? So we got a 1 plus, plus 4, plus 1, plus, 4, plus 2. All right, so he's got a band of 12 goblin minions in his forest now. With his big shiny armor, he went and wowed 12 goblin minions to his cause, right? So this could be tricky, and he will continue to grow unless you know, you get stopped. So in this area, it's going to be goblin minion. So this is, what was it, on a E4? E4 is what? The staff stall wood. So we have, I'm going to write this here, Vasher, the dwarf slayer, and then I'm going to go 1d4 goblins each week. So now he's got, let's go back to our thing now. I'm going to write just on this day. So Vasher has 12 goblin minions. So at this point, let's see here. Let's go. You know, they might get up to stuff, right? Where'd my D12 go? Let's see. Have they raided anybody? So D10, anything above or 10 and up, they've done a raid on the highway. Yes, they have, right, on an 18. So he's raided. So now he's an issue, right? So let's do it again. D10. Is there a reward out for him in Barnemouth on a 5? No, not yet. So he hasn't affected Barnemouth, but what about Greyfast? Is he hitting up Greyfast stuff? Is he going to the quarry and everything, maybe? Like, that's a trade route. Yes, so Greyfast will have some, you know, he's raiding up into here. Wait, where's my thing? So this is the quarry. And this is like the main highway. So he's kind of more coming along down here, and they're raiding they raided a caravan from this quarry. So maybe he's trying to get stone. He's trying to build something here. Maybe they have their stuff built in wood. So he's a bit of a problem. So in Greyfast, that can be something. And then how about this? Anytime we travel back here along the highway, or something like that, if we have to, roll for random encounter. How about we make this highway now dangerous? It used to be you didn't have to check. Oh no, you didn't need a map. You didn't have to check if you're lost. Sorry. Anyway, encounters along this will now be his raiding party, a goblin raiding party, and he's got 12 guys. So because he hasn't bothered Barnemouth, we don't know about it. We don't know that he's raiding, right? He's along here. So if we ever go back to Greyfast, then, you know, we could potentially encounter that and they'll hear about it. And also the kobolds, right? So there's a kobold lair. I need to find out a mechanic to find out what the kobold lair is. And I don't know how to do that. Give me a minute. I'm going to Google some stuff and see what I can find online. Okay, so I don't know, I'm just like Googling shit. According to the old AI overview thing, it's like small layers and outposts. They scale down to like 20 to 90 kobolds. So let's say you could just make it easy, right? You could just do a D100 for the layer, but we've killed 7 of them in our adventures so far. So let's roll a D100. So holy shoot. Okay, so there's 72 minus the 7. So there's a layer of 65 kobolds in here. That seems like a lot. That's like a small army. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. So again, D3 is the Wicked Birch Wilds. That's just like scrubland, kobold lair. So I'm going to write kobold lair, and it now has 65 kobolds, which I don't know if they're all war ready, right? Typically I think the rule is like it's 10% of the population can be utilized for military. In one of the rule books I was reading, I don't know if that's the case in here too, but like that kind of mechanic I like. It makes it easy, right? So we could just, the Barnemouth Village kind of has like 30 guards or 30 fighting men it could utilize, whereas these kobolds, it can have like what, 6 or so. So they can potentially be overrun and driven out if they become a problem or anything like that. Maybe we killed a lot of their guys already, unless they can all be utilized, in which case this would be a gnarly battle. But that's, you know, something to think about. If we want to go on a big old race war and flush them out, we got to destroy 65 of them, which, you know, maybe that can be a thing later on. How about this now? For the gnomes have their thing, like what they have their map now. They have this cleared out. So maybe they want to go and explore some more stuff, right? They're kind of archaeologists. They've discovered what this is. But do they want the armor of gleaming? Like, do they really want that thing that was in the tomb? So on a DC, we'll say a DC 10 on this. On the 9, no, not really. They didn't really want it. So they just know, like, okay, they just wanted to map it out, I guess, and look for stuff. They're like, okay, well, there was something in there. Do they know what was in there? Did they know that magic item? No, they don't. They didn't know that there was a magic item in the thing. So that's why they don't care about it. But how about this? They are going to they're going to want to go explore some more stuff. They're archaeologists, right? So we kind of cleared something in here. Now, let's say they're gonna... Are they traveling up to this number 9 up here? Are they going up to here? Oop, that dropped down. Hopefully a 2. No, they're not going over there. Are they interested in this ancient... what was number 8? A shrine? The corruption shrine? No. On a 5, no, they're not. They're hunkered down. Do they want to go back to Greyfast? Yes. So they're going to take their map back to Greyfast, and maybe they offer us an opportunity to, like, go and meet the king or something like that, right? Are they taking their info to the king? Like, do they work for the royal district? On a 14, sorry, I was in my head, I was thinking like a 10 again. Make it easy, right? Higher or lower. So they're working for the royal kind of family up in here. So they're going to take their information and the map we gave, and they're going to bring it on back to here, and that'll be that. What could happen now? Like, why would does the king have like little bounties and stuff for like exploring these areas? We'll do a DC 10 on that. Ooh. Yeah, okay. So on a 19, that king or whatever, whoever rules the town or the city of Greyfast, they've got like little bounties and everything like that to go and, you know, explore all these things. Cool. So that gives us a little mechanic of why we would want to venture out and explore things, because the king's like, hey, I want you guys to explore this ancient continent and stuff like that. So how about this? The gnomes are going back. So, you know, we scribed this thing with them and all that jazz, and maybe we didn't spend the whole month in Barnemouth Village. Maybe we spent some time here, right? So how about this? Let's have them travel. Let's have them go to Greyfast instead now. Well, let's say, how about, for the sake of the story, they all spent a month there scribing this, studying stuff, whatever, making together like a little package, and then they're going to go back to the city to give this little report to the king on the infinite burrows. And now we're going to follow them back to capital of Greyfast, and potentially get a payout. Like, will they include us in their payout from the king for having, you know, explored that dungeon? And yeah, on a 15, they're gonna say, hey, we're gonna split the loot with you. Perfect. So we're gonna go back to the city of Greyfast from this hex. So we're gonna travel a road, boom, and we're gonna go. Wait, where am I? Where's my hex? We're gonna travel the road back to Greyfast. We're gonna spend a day doing that. 3 checks, I believe it is. What is it to leave here? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And then that'll take us right to the gates. We're gonna get there pretty late, but we got to do 3 checks, I believe it is, of what is it? Because that's a plains hex, morning, evening, and then it says midnight. But I guess we can only travel 24 miles in a day. But that's like, it says like 8 hours of traveling. So let's do 2 checks. Do we get raided along the way on a 1? Oh, we do. We do get raided. So we're traveling back along here, along the road, and then that Vasher and the dwarf, whatever, the dwarf killer and his minions, they have a raiding party that came out here. Now he has 12 goblins. Let's do a yes or no answer maybe of, does he attack with all his goblins? Yes or no, right? So evens is yes, he's got his whole party. And then on a no, he's got, we'll figure out how many he's got after that, but on a, oh yeah, evens. Okay, no, don't even have to roll for that. So his whole band of 12 goblin minions is laying in route for us. So I've actually got to rig up a pretty big battle now. We have Golly Godsford, we have Summer, Sorcel Summer Breeze, both level 2, so that's pretty nice. And we're going to have to go and do battle with some goblins here, the raiding party. And it's going to be, I think there was 5 dwarfs, or 5 gnomes, 5 like little gnome fighters and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to rig up a big old battle. And we'll play that out and find out if we survive and if we can make it to the city. But we're getting attacked by a raiding party here. And maybe we can deal with that goblin right away, but he's already causing problems for us. So.